if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. I'm like, that's cool. I get it. I get the concept of it. But if you love what you do, you work harder to keep it in your life.
I got in a good habit of reading those every day. Then I kind of fell off, but I would still, say a prayer every morning. And then, anytime that I had in the car, I would say like a prayer or just have like a conversation. Well, now it's like I'm almost like drifting away from that.
Would God invite you into his kingdom if you're lukewarm with him? If you just know of him. And, it doesn't sound as appetizing. It's like, okay, well, that's fair. I never really had that relationship with God. I just knew of him. But I think that's what defines the actual lukewarm Christian. Just people who know of God, but don't really prioritize him. They know he exists. They, dab him up every once in a while on a Sunday for an hour at church, but they never built that relationship,
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Five Guys podcast. We are here with the gang.
We are also live on TikTok.
We're trying something different, so we're live right here. We have 0 viewers. Shout out to our
Hav and John, the only viewers in the stream.
But we're just testing the grounds. Threw up TikTok live, so we'll see how that goes. As you guys can see, we are in new merch. Five Guys merch. This is our second batch, second shirt. We're gonna go ahead and check out the back really quick.
There's also a text right here.
Looks so good, bro. Look at you.
There we go. Super sick.
How do we choose the color again?
I'll cut to a clip showing how we chose the color.
All right.
Blue, red. Yeah. That was perfect. Red it is.
Red.
I kind of wanted blue.
I kind of wanted blue too.
I'm going with blue.
Let's go with blue. Okay. Yep. So we literally, was it a flip coin?
Yeah.
We flipped my laundry card.
Oh yeah, it was that a laundry
and
card.
then it landed on red, but we all wanted blue.
I remember
And then
that. We have a clip,
blue.
so we'll go ahead and insert clip here.
Should have it.
But yeah, episode 18, I believe.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And we're
18.
still rolling, so shout out us. We're keeping it going, and we'll dive right into it. So
3 more podcasts. Sorry to cut you off. 3 more podcasts, and we'll make it into the top 1% of podcasting.
super sick.
So
And we'll for sure make it.
yeah, hell yeah.
Really quick, it's graduation season, so I just want to say a quick congratulations to all the graduates that are graduating. I have my brother, he is graduating high school. He's a senior, so congratulations to my brother. He's going on to, I believe he's going to be going to Delta and going to kind of figure out what he wants to do. So shout out to him, and there's a couple other people that I know that have recently graduated college or university, whatever. Congratulations to them. So quick shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say, I remember back when I graduated high school, back in 2015.
15.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
You were 15, I was
Dude,
16.
my 10-year reunion is this year.
That's so crazy. Like, time is literally like
Flying by.
flying. I remember my senior year, like,
It was like last week.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And my brother went to grad night,
Mhm.
and I'm like, dang, I remember my grad. I literally have a YouTube video.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing it.
And I feel like that was yesterday. But I go back and look at the video, and I had a little top knot. Thought it was cool. I had a little GoPro walking around. I look so different from like then to now, which is probably what, 9 years, 8
You got a
years?
Photoshop a picture of him.
Before it's after. No.
Photo of Javi here.
No, I don't even think you'll be able to. Oh, well, no,
Yeah.
actually screenshot it from.
I'll work my magic.
He has his
I'll work
ways.
my magic. But yeah, just wanted to start off the intro with a quick congratulations to all the graduates out there.
Also, my nephew just promoted. He's going from 8th grade to freshman. And
Nice.
homie grew. He's tall. He's as tall as me, and he's like 13.
That's
Mm.
awesome.
I think I could be wrong. Don't butcher me if you're
Yeah.
listening, Adrian.
Dude, my brother and your brother are the same age. My brother's graduating too.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
From what high school?
Oregon.
Oregon High School?
Well, a high school from Oregon, but you probably wouldn't know the name. Plymouth Union. We'll go
Oh,
KU.
okay. Yeah.
Good old KU. The KU Pelicans. Hoorah.
Shout out Lincoln Trojans. Where did you go?
Dude,
Oh,
I
you
went
went
to
to
KU in Mazama. Yeah, in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and dive right into it. So I think what we have on the agenda today Rob will go ahead
and... We have nothing on our agenda. No, the first thing I wanted to bring up... Sorry, it is a little... Are you... Sorry, it's a little distraction. The TikTok live was literally like last point, like 5 seconds before actually taking the podcast serious. No, but yeah, I mean, I guess you kind of get into a little bit of TikTok and social media is recently I've been dabbling a lot more with creative work, getting out of my comfort zone and working with different brands and companies. And one of them actually, I mean, they've all gone great, but one of them actually turned into a paying client. So for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, I do video work, and I think I've only barely talked about my work maybe like once or twice on the podcast. But full-time videographer, creative, all that great stuff. And in order for me to get more creative, I need to learn to film different things. Most of my life in this career has been gym-based content. Whether if it's you guys or a gym that hires me for the week. And I've been so used to that, so I was like, cool, how is it to do combat sports? Started to reach out to multiple boxing gyms, kickboxing gyms, all that stuff. And a lot of them has been turned into good results. I've already had one client that's taken me out to Mexico. That's when I went out there to Mexico. That was a great time. We were supposed to go out to LA tomorrow, but it looks like it was a last second change of plans. Some stuff happened, but it's been opening up nothing but more opportunities for me to get exposure and also that more food on the table, getting paid more, all that. And I would like to share that just because for any creatives who are listening, take those chances. It's weird to reach out of your comfort zone and go ask strangers hey, could I record you guys? But it gets easier and easier and easier. It's a muscle, just like anything else you work out, it's going to get stronger and stronger. So right now, the confidence I have is I could almost go to any other company and say, hey, you mind if I shoot one free video for you guys, whatever it is, and if they bring me on, they bring me on. If they don't, they get a video, I get experience/exposure, and we move on. And then next time they ever need somebody to do video work, hey, there was that one guy that we met 2 weeks ago. Let's see where he's at right now.
Right. Well, I love that. And that's kind of how we knew of each other.
Yeah.
But I think you came up to me and said the same thing, hey, let me record a video of you, and then see where it goes. I'm pretty sure you did the same thing with
Same thing.
So, and that has kind of led to us here now.
Yeah.
So it's if you're not going to put yourself out there, you're not going to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. If you never leave your house, you're never going to go explore the world and see what other opportunities you have.
Right.
I was so used to just the gym community, recording you guys, all that. But wanted to go record people I don't know, because there's going to be times where people, hey, are you available? Some random person could approach me online, not like that, but walk up to me on the street, but people have reached out to me through DMs, say, hey, are you available this day, whatever, So I'm going to have to get used to that. In general, if somebody random reaches out to me, I need to have that muscle that I've worked out by working with strangers, learning their personality on the fly, because not everybody's the same.
Right.
Some people are very just business,
oriented.
Yeah. You send a message, cool, thanks, that's it. And I'm like, did I do a bad job? Because, it's such a business exchange. It's
right.
Boom, here's a product, cool, thanks. I'm like, okay, cool. If you like it, great. Mm-hmm. But then there's other clients that are a little bit more in depth to it, which I like. It gets more of the creative flow going and what they want, because I also want to make sure I'm delivering the right product for that person.
Right.
But it's been nothing but fun. I encourage it to anybody who's trying to build a business, if it's videography or if it's any other thing, send samples out, build your communications and your relationships amongst people and see where it can take you. Because what's the worst that can happen? You lose your time. That's kind of what you're selling. The time is what you're selling.
Yeah, and if there's any creatives out there that want to get a little bit of inspo, feel free to check out Rob's Instagram page, RobXFilms. Mm-hmm. Definitely has really good work on there. So
really getting better.
Give him a little follow, give him a little bit of love, and. Yeah. Rob.
Shout out, Rob.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Rob actually, all the camera equipment and all the podcast stuff is pretty much Rob.
Almost. We pitched in for some stuff too here.
Yeah, it was one, but unfortunately one is no longer with us.
It's back to TJ.
Yep.
Yeah, back across the border.
Yeah, but huge shout out to him. I was thinking about that today. But yeah, speaking of inspo, I know that my barber reached out to me.
The emotion you put into it was so real. I was like, wait.
Yeah, how was that, dude? How did that go? Because I know that he was texting me to text you to ask questions, and I was like, bro, I just need to hook you guys up.
I don't want to dox the name or anything like that. But yeah, no. If anybody doesn't know, John was the middleman of me and another homie now who had not camera question, but it was software for all the editing I do. He was using Premiere Pro. I think it's Premiere Pro. I used to use this. It's been a while since I've used anything from Adobe besides Photoshop and Lightroom. Just a bit any video editing. But he was having some issues on Premiere Pro where it was freezing. I experienced the same thing first because I came to Premiere Pro in the very beginning, but it kept crashing on me. Rather than, let me find the solution, I just switched softwares. I went to DaVinci Resolve, which is actually a free version, and I just now, after using DaVinci for the last year and a half, I just now bought the studio version, which cost me about $300, which is seems like, oh crap, if you don't know software, it's oh, that's expensive, but in reality, other softwares sometimes are either one flat price for the rest of your life, or Adobe Premiere has, where it's a monthly subscription. So you're either going to pay 5 years, $40 a month, that's going to rack up versus just $300 flat out. But yeah, to say all that, I was able to kind of help him out. I don't know if he actually did switch it, but I sent him the link. I showed him what to download, pros and cons, sent him a couple videos. But that went great, and hopefully I was able to help another creative. Because being a creative isn't just about creating work for other people. It's mainly small businesses or business owners, like a barber needs to advertise himself as well out there. He needs to take care of his clientele, reach more clients. In order to do that, you have to create advertisement. In order to create advertisement, you got to get a camera, whether if it's your phone, software, or whatever it is that you need to create those ads for your own self. So the creative world definitely has exploded since entrepreneurship became more popular due to the internet expansion. Not just a little small business like mom and pop shop in the corner of a building, but more so now if I want to buy a candle from Texas or something, that person at that shop, their small business, is doing everything that they can to get an advertisement from Texas to California, so I can see oh, I want to buy that candle. That person now needs to dabble into the creative world. So.
Yeah, and just to fill you in and give you context, Javi, my boy's my barber, obviously, but he has been looking at, he's been shooting content for himself to obviously market his profession, and he had reached out to me about Rob. He was like, hey, would your boy be cool to help me out with videography and help create content, and I'll pay him. And I was like, dude, that's really cool, because I think as much as a creative goes, your product markets yourself pretty well, but it's so cool to see other people who want to learn your style, and I thought that was super cool. So it was funny because it was late at night, and he was like, hey, hit up your boy and see this. And I was like, bro. He's like, hey, hit up your boy. And I was like, dang, that's cool for Rob. The fact that he's not only creating good content, but good enough content that people want to learn from him. Exactly. And I think that's pretty cool.
I appreciate that, bro. And I always try to make, I thought you were about to smack a fly or something. I was like, what's going on? No, no, I appreciate that, bro, because the genuine thing about me is when I got into this creative world, I didn't know who to ask questions for. Sometimes YouTube videos, I learned a lot of everything from YouTube, 95% was just based off YouTube, that or some other form of Instagram or something. But it's kind of weird coming into a new industry and not knowing anybody that you know in person or local. So it's always nice to have that reassurance of hey, I could reach out to this person. So that's why I'm so open to hey, if you need help, DM me. I don't gatekeep. If you want to know what software I use, I'll tap in. Because a lot of people in the creative world will also gatekeep stuff, so they could have that only type of not content, but brand. It's their brand, that film
it's their
look,
own style of film.
They're trying to steal your flow.
Yeah, so a lot of people,
I know people do certain color grading. They're oh, I want to claim this as my type of.
So they'll gatekeep it. They won't share with whatever, and even subtitles and stuff like that. People will gatekeep where they keep their subtitles from. So when people are looking for stuff, they will look at only your page because they're trying to figure it out. Versus if they release it and everybody has it, then you're not anything quote unquote special anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, in the creative world, it's not about gatekeeping. It's be authentic. And I know that word's oversaturated, but be so authentic into yourself where it doesn't matter if other people are creating similar things to you. It's the fact that you're making it. It's you as a person,
right? Not
your own brand, but your brand is your person. But what I'm trying to say is it's from the heart, not from a copy and paste factor. Because anybody could copy and paste, but you can only do that for so long.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And yeah, I mean, looking at that, you can take it several ways. One, I took it as I'm doing something so great that people want to copy me, which is super cool. But also, one thing that I've learned is dude, if you're doing something great and people want to know, that's good marketing for you, because who's the origin of all that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as you go through branding and make sure that you own that, I don't see why that would be an issue to let people market your style for you.
Yeah, because it creates more of like that look that you want to acquire, but also is it achievable too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just want to say this for the creatives as well, or people that are getting into cinematography or whatever it may be. All you really need to start is this.
Mm-hmm.
You have a camera, iPhone 12 shoots 1080 at
4K as well.
At 4K, the iPhone 12, I'm not sure, but I know this is the 15 Pro, newest one out. It shoots 4K at 60 frames, but typically you want to shoot 24 for cinematography.
Get that motion blur.
Yeah, so all you really need is this, and you go from there. And of course, the better that the better.
The more you do it.
The more that you do it, the better that you'll get at it, and then you can start investing into like camera equipment if you'd like, and like for example, like John has really good content. John Munoz Fitness, I believe.
Yep, John Munoz
Fitness. And he posts like a lot of stuff, and I'm like, dang, his stuff is good.
Consistent
and
with it.
And it's consistent,
growing.
and it's on his phone. It's like nothing crazy, like super cool.
A lot of people will try to say, "Oh, I'm gonna do this when I get this." Like, no, that's not the case. I was a victim of that, and I love exposing myself about that because it's everybody. I'm gonna wait for the perfect day to start. And I think everybody could agree with that. We've done that, whether if it's in content creation or the gym or trying something new. Oh, I'm gonna go running today. Oh, it's a little too warm. Like, I'm gonna go when it's a little bit windier so I don't get as hot. I was like, no, you have to just start now. And everybody hears that, oh, you start now. I was like, no, just freaking start now, dude, because you're gonna thank yourself in a year from now. Because in a year, it's like, what if you don't do it? Okay, then you're gonna keep telling yourself, I'm gonna start from now. And then you look back, it's like, oh, I just procrastinated. I said I'm gonna start, but I never really did. But once you start now, you're gonna thank yourself in a year, because the last year all you did was grow.
Exactly.
And this last month, I've probably grown the most I've grown in a year, just because of how consistent I've been. Absolutely. And like the last year, I've been working with the same gym. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Yeah. I've been working with the same gym, doing the same stuff, and again, it becomes very stagnant in my growth as a creative. But this last month, challenging myself with different colors, with different clients, with just different lighting, has been nothing but the best for me. So now I feel like I'm providing a lot of different like looks and growths, and I'm pulling from different areas, and that's helping me as a person to provide more for a future client or my reoccurring clients. But it's all about consistency and growth. That's actually going to make that difference, and just starting now. Don't wait to buy the fancy camera. Just get used to being in front of a camera first.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, that's a good point too, because I was looking through some of my content that I've created, and actually like a year and a half ago, I recorded a video of how scared I was to record content. And like, it was like my reaction to recording content for the first time. But it was honestly pretty cool to see the amount of supporters that were like, it's very intimidating, it's very scary, but you just got to do it and just be like in your own world. And I think similar to what you're saying is like, you don't need the newest or the most expensive equipment. Like, you just need to have a willingness to actually record something. And I've reached out to so many people. I've reached out to some of my followers or people that I'm following about like, hey, like, what camera do you have? Or, what do you use to edit your videos? And they're all like pretty low key. And one of my buddies records some pretty solid content. All he uses is his phone. And I'm one of those individuals where I'm like, if it was functional, I'm good. As long as I can record something. So, I guess like someone who's newer to this realm, just like, dude, everyone's doing it. And like you said, like, make it your own, make it special. You're the artist of the content that you're creating, and it's always going to feel intimidating. I mean, I still get shaky.
Yeah. I mean, before every pod, I'm like trying to build up the courage to like, okay, here we go again. But once we get into like the flow of like,
it becomes more natural.
Then it becomes more natural. Yeah. And the more, I feel like if you watch like the first maybe 5 to 10 pods for me, I'm like, hey guys,
I think honestly because sometimes when I'm editing, most of the time when I'm editing now, I have to go through everything. I remember, I think episode 11 is when I saw a different version of you, precisely
absolutely.
Because that's when I click like, oh snap, I saw your growth happen in that one, because you were back then, you were so like kind of like timid
in
to
like
get
a
into
shell
it,
almost,
and not as talkative. You were more listening and saying things in, which is again part of that growth. Where now even you yourself as a person, as the man that you're growing to be and are, you got to go back and watch episode 1, and then from there you realize you watch episode 25 or something, like, oh crap, the difference from 25 episodes from point 1 to point 25. It's like that growth is there. That's just proof like consistency is the way to grow.
Right? And then it's going to be from episode 25 to 50. Then you look back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're going to see all the progress that you made from like this point to this
1
point.
to 100.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, it's about being consistent and not getting comfortable. Because once you get comfortable, then that's when all like this, like almost like a plateau almost happens.
It will happen, and I'll be vulnerable to that. That's what happened to me. I got comfortable with my one gym client, and every other few like not random, but like once in a blue moon hit me up type of client. Nothing wrong with that. Just being vulnerable about my clientele. As I got comfortable with those clients, like okay, cool, it's paying the bills, getting on by, not struggling, just living my life in a way. But I was like, well, damn, dude, if you want to grow, you can't get comfortable with what you have, and you also can't get comfortable with your own creative craft.
Right.
Hence is why I'm doing everything that I've been doing since I think the beginning of May. I've just been like, not maybe like after the first week of May, it has been like nonstop of just the grind of just a new client, new opportunities, new something. And I already went to Mexico randomly, so that's the first month. So we'll see where else I go.
So cool.
Yeah, and imagine if you never reached out to the client. Then, you'd be in the same spot you were.
I would still be doing the same stuff, the same old thing with the same, I guess I'm going to say pay.
Yeah.
I'm never really about, money, prioritize it, because I genuinely like and love what I do. So I've never put, money first. It's like, let me prioritize my own craft. If it dies, it dies. Let me prioritize my own craft, and then over time, money will pay the bills for what I'm doing, what I love. Not prioritize it to make money, because I think that's how things fall apart, is when you focus on money when you're trying to grow a business. If you genuinely don't love what you're doing, it's going to fall apart. It's going to become a business that you have to like, I got to go do my business. I got to go show up to work. You just created another 9-to-5 job for yourself.
Yeah, well, and I've heard that that advice so many times. It's like, if you focus so much on the money rather than the business, then you're going to lose the business trying to chase money. Rather than focus all your attention on the business and watch the money come in. And, one thing that I like to always tell my team too is like, you need to find your passion, right? Absolutely. Something that you're passionate about, a job that you enjoy with people that you love being around. And if you love your job, one of the other things that I hate, and this will tie into that, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. I'm like, that's cool. I get it. I get the concept of it. But if you love what you do, you work harder to keep it in your life.
I like that. I've heard of that before. But you're absolutely right.
Because you're chasing your passion.
When I noticed what you just said, I was like, it's clicking. Like, absolutely right. You're working harder.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I would use the gym to kind of like simplify this example. How you're saying like day 1 compared to day 20. If you're not consistent, if you're not working hard, if you're not challenging yourself, pushing yourself, you're probably gonna look like day 1 at day 100. You know what I mean? Rather than challenging yourself to fight through that plateau. Because I was sharing with you guys too. Like I felt like I just got kind of stuck, but it's also kind of made me reflect and rethink what I'm doing now. Like, is it the same that I was doing at day 1, or am I looking to, look different, be stronger? And I guess like the last thing I'll say is like, if you want to lift heavier, lift heavier. If you want to look better, cool. Find something that makes you look better. If you want to make your passion a career, then you need to work harder.
Amen to that. Because if not, you're just going to end up at another 9-to-5 job with your failed passion, your failed career. Not failed passion, but if you want passion to pay the bills, I should say.
No, exactly. I like that. Passion to pay the bills. Because how many people do you know that work at a job they don't enjoy? I felt bad for them.
A lot of people.
There are times in your life, like when you don't enjoy what you do, but it puts money or food on the table. But at some point too, like, I mean, we've talked about it. Even if our podcast took off to the point where we could financially like be cool and smooth, I mean, that's kind of like the goal. But I think even with our daily lives, like, the passion that we have for this is really special because you showed up today. You're like, I'm tired. I showed up today. I was like, I'm going to fall asleep because I'm so exhausted. And then you have your busy days. It's like, that's what passion's about though. Like, and we're talking about dedication versus motivation. Like, even when you're unmotivated, Got to stay dedicated.
Still show up.
Through. Yep, show up and show out. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
I see people show up to the gym and they don't show out. I'm like, that's kind of lame.
I mean, that's one thing as well, to be vulnerable. I've been slacking in the gym the last 2 weeks. Last 2 months, but the last 2 weeks was like a real just burn of just like, like I probably didn't go to the gym for like a scattered of 6 days in 2 weeks. So like I only went to the gym like 7 days out of like 14 days or something like that, like every other day, damn near. And I just had to pull myself out of that rut just because, my camera career got busier doesn't mean I don't have more time for the gym. If anything, I should be making more time waking up early and stuff like that. But there's times where I do prioritize my camera career versus my gym career, just because I always know the gym's going to be there for me, quote unquote. But it also, what I realized, it also could affect my consistency going to the gym. And everybody knows, you miss a day, you miss 2 days, turns into 3, it's a week.
Yeah, and that happens. I mean, that's natural. I mean, it happens in my job all the time, and I think I appreciate my son's mom for always kind of checking me and being like, just remember, like, your quality of life outside of work is just as important as your quality of life inside of work. Don't identify yourself through your work. Remember that you are who you are before your job, and that kind of gives me that reassurance that even when work is super busy, that I do need to fill my cup out outside of work. Otherwise, I'm going to get deflated, feel fatigued because of work, and feel burnt out. And you're right. Like, I think it just comes to getting creative with your schedule and prioritizing what's important. But I tell my managers all the time, I'm like, if you want to be successful in the shop, then you need to take care of yourself even more outside the shop. And Steph Curry would probably attest to that too. How he looks on the court isn't because he just shows up and does that. It's everything that he does off the court that allows him to perform on the court. And it's, I think that's similar to work as well and anything else that we do.
It's the aspect of like having a healthy home's going to have you like a healthy soul, and that soul is what you're going to bring to work. Versus if you have, not the best environment at home, it's going to affect your soul, and your soul is going to carry on at work, and you might not perform as you would normally. And especially in any sort of combat sports or sports in general, it's a big thing with physical activity, putting yourself out on the field or the ring. It's like you're going to notice the toll it takes when you're not mentally there, when you're not mentally at home. Because you get, at home, you get to rest, recover, recuperate, and come back much more energized versus being at home in a toxic environment or some sort of negative, environment. And then coming up to work, and then it affects yourself, affects the team, affects, the wins, and then downhill from there almost.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been working really hard at my job, and I didn't have like health insurance for about like almost a year and a half. And now I'm finally a member of the union. So I recently I recently have, health benefits now. And I'm like, okay, I need to run and get everything checked now.
New glasses, new this, new that.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I'm really trying to prioritize my health. Whereas, and it's kind of sad to say, like, when I didn't have insurance, I really wasn't able to do that because of how much it cost. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, it's so expensive.
Like, to get like an eye exam was like $250, and then to get a pair of glasses would be like for your prescription and everything. That's like another like $200 to $300. So it's
this is in America, by the way. I know other places are different, but
and then for just like a simple health checkup, I didn't even want to look at it because I'm like, I would be going to a doctor. I don't even have insurance, so well, now that I do, I'm getting all that done. I have a dentist appointment tomorrow, which is crazy because I literally went in today and was like, hey, I need to make a dentist appointment. I have insurance now. And they're like, oh, okay, awesome. And then they're like, well, we're 2 months out. And I'm like, oh, anything sooner? And then somebody else popped in and was like, we have actually 3 cancellations tomorrow. Can you come in tomorrow? I'm like, perfect. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take care of yourself.
Getting all that checked out. And you really just got to prioritize your health at the end of the day. How's the TikTok rolling?
Phone's about to die, but it's a new experiment that we're trying, so we'll see what happens.
My mic's in the way.
That's all good. If anything, readjust it a little bit that way. Because then they can't hear you.
That's okay. I'll just lean forward.
That's fair.
Every time I
talk. Can we transition? Do you guys want to transition?
What do you mean by that?
I kind of wanted to get into the topic of
which one?
kind of like a lukewarm Christian. What we were speaking about. Yeah. So we kind of are both struggling at the moment with.
Do we want to provide context for John and the audience?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm new to this.
Yeah. So, as you guys know, today we picked up our shirts. Drop will be released soon. But on the way, it was a duo. It was Hav and I. John couldn't make it. He was at work. Yeah. So while we were driving out there, I was talking to Hav about how his relationship with Christ is currently. They're shoving him around.
Well, they weren't part of it for the drop, so we had to show them.
But yeah, so I was talking to Hav on the way, and I asked him like, "Hey, how's your relationship with the Lord right now?" And then from there, that opened up the conversation of a lukewarm Christian. Mm-hmm. And did you want to provide what I told you about lukewarm, or do you want me to do it?
Kind of get
up to you.
Where you guys are going with this.
You could go ahead.
Yeah, so we both agreed that currently, right now in life, because we're busy, we're doing our things right now, and sometimes we reprioritize our life, or we're not prioritizing God as much as we used to because of how maybe our schedule changed, or maybe we're trying different things, and it's kind of there, but it's not there. We're not giving our attention. We're not reading the Bible as often as much as we used to. We're not talking about Christ as much as we used to. And I brought up the term lukewarm Christian, and Hav asked, like, well, are we, lukewarm Christians by doing that? So then I brought up the context about a lukewarm friend. What do you define like a lukewarm relationship or friend? Out of curiosity, do you know what you would say about like a lukewarm relationship?
I mean,
friend?
It can be taken differently, because the first thing I thought of is like my mom, right? Don't speak to her every day. Don't see her every day. But the amount of like love and care that I have for her is still unmatched, and it would be similar to not seeing a friend for a long time. And even my best friend, right? We've been friends since we were 4 years old. I don't talk to him all the time. Don't see him at all because he lives in Oregon. And I think the last time I seen him was last year. But that love is there, and he understands that I'm busy, and I know that he's busy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so my mind kind of... So my question to you is like... it's not even a question, but I guess where I'm going with that is like... that our friendship and relationship never changed.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's kind of the point that I brought up to Rob as well. And he came with a rebuttal that I actually really liked. Do you want to share that?
No. This mic falls. Hopefully we have insurance. Hav's new insurance will cover this, right?
Hey.
No. What was my rebuttal? I honestly kind of forgot in the heat of the moment. Oh. Was it about how I use that person as an example as a friend, a lukewarm friend? So, and correct me if I'm wrong, or if you remember if I repeat it incorrectly.
Because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I have a couple friends where I don't have that relationship where I'm like checking in on them often, but I know that they're there. I know that they're a good friend.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. So, what I stated to Hav is like, think about a friend, right? That you wouldn't invite to a party. Not like out of hate, but you're aware that person exists, you see him at the gym, you dab him up, you have like mutual friends, you know of each other, but would you personally invite that person to your house? Do you hang out?
Just like a gym bro that you ask for like a spot or something.
So like let's say that we had a kickback, right? Like the three of us, right?
Yeah, an acquaintance, for sure. Yeah.
Would you invite that person to that kickback to your house with your boys?
No. And I get where you're coming from. And here's my rebuttal to that, right? Like, cool, we know there's God, and we know there's the devil. Yeah. We're acquainted with the devil because we know he exists. We know he's around. We see him. We feel him at times, right? But we would never allow them into our home. So is he really a friend or not? The relationship with God, though, should be always inviting. And like Javi was explaining, like, despite us not communicating all the time, despite us getting busy, lives taking a different path, like that commitment to your friend probably will never change. Like, I could go to 10 years without talking to my best friend, but at the end of the day, just one text message or, hey, how you doing? Or when I have time to see him and like go up there and see him, it's like
everything's back.
Oh, it's so exciting. I get
Yeah.
so excited. And so, I mean, that's kind of like, I think people start to doubt their faith rather than question like the time they're spending on speaking to God or that intentionality.
Right.
I think it's kind of different.
I guess where I'm kind of gonna go with this is it wrong for us to do that when we're getting when our lives are getting busy and we have things that we are prioritizing over God? Is that wrong to do?
Well, I mean, it depends. Is God the center of your life or not? Because if your girlfriend, right? It's a relationship, very intimate. I hope so, and very healthy. I hope so.
Not as much as with you.
Yeah. But I would hope that even in your relationship, that despite, and I just had this conversation with my friend this morning, because she was talking to a guy, and she's very busy, and she's like, "How do you help someone understand our job, right?" Because my job is very demanding. I'm on the clock all the time. I have so many employees, and I'm constantly working. How do you get someone to understand that, like, even if I commit to something that might change, or like I just don't have time, but that's not me not wanting to spend time with you. It's literally just because I can't, and that's the reality of it. And what I explained to her is like, it is going to be hard to, at times commit to those things, but it's not because you don't want to do something. It's because you are preoccupied with priorities. Like, you have to set those boundaries. And yeah, I basically just reassured her, like, it's going to be tough sometimes because we're going to encounter those moments where we doubt whether or not we commit enough to people, right? And we prioritize these things. But I don't think those people would be as upset if we're honest with them and honest with ourselves. And I think that's where it gets hard. Like, if you feel like you're not prioritizing God in your life, it's probably because you're not.
Right.
That needs to be clear and concise. And you got to be clear with where your time is. Where is your time allocated, and are you making an excuse or not? You know what I mean? And I told her that. And I was like, you got to confront this individual. You got to be honest with yourself. Be clear, concise. Like, hey, my job is demanding. I can't promise you that I'm going to do that because of this. But if I can, I will make time for you. And be honest with yourself. Like, don't lie to yourself because you're, I don't know, afraid someone's going to walk away, have abandonment issues, etc. You know what I mean? But I think the more that we become, that we start to question our faith, we just have to ask ourselves some of those like harder questions and not beat around the bush. You know what I mean? But time is of the essence. But I think priorities, I mean, if you are busy and, if you're not prioritizing God.
There's always going to be time. It's just like how John is saying, we just have to prioritize it.
Of course.
Like it could be as small as like, okay, I'm busy in the morning, but on my way to the gym, I'm going to, have a conversation with God or a quick prayer or whatever it is. And that's what I feel like I'm not doing. And we're almost in the same boat. So maybe we both aren't doing that. Would we consider that lukewarm?
I don't think so. To answer the question, I personally don't think so. I think the difference of somebody who's actually lukewarm would go with what I had originally said to what John had answered. Like, would you invite that person to your kickback, to your, to your house? I think that person is a lukewarm Christian where they know of God, but if you replace the relationship with a friend, that friend that they're lukewarm with, they wouldn't invite that person to their house. Vice versa, that person wouldn't probably invite that person to their house. So now when we paint the picture and we replace that friend with the word God, for that's who he is, is would God invite you into his kingdom if you're lukewarm with him? If you just know of him. It doesn't sound as appetizing. It's like, okay, well, that's fair. I'd never really had that relationship with God. I just knew of him. But I think that's what defines the actual lukewarm Christian. Just people who know of God, but don't really prioritize him. They know he exists. They, dab him up every once in a while on a Sunday for an hour at church, but they never built that relationship, You could dab up a homie at the gym, once a week for an hour, but you're not going to invite that person over to your house.
Yeah, one of my notebooks too, which is a good point that you brought up, is I was thinking about this. And yeah, the smallest moments, dude, like I think yesterday, even this morning, I was in the shower and I was just like really thinking, having shower thoughts. And I was just thinking about my faith and the things that I'm just grateful for. And I shared that with, my team this morning. But even in those moments, like, I just thank God for everything that I've been blessed with. But as far as where you're going, guilt versus conviction. Are you feeling guilty because you're questioning your faith and not making time for him? And that would be like, you feel guilt for doing the wrong thing rather than have conviction, which is the obligation to do the right thing.
I think it's I feel a little bit of guilt, but then the obligation to do the right thing, because that's what I know what I should be doing naturally.
But it feels like an obligation to do it.
Not in a bad way. It's like I know that's what I should be doing because that's what I want to be doing. It's like when you're trying to perfect a craft, and you should be doing these little things to help you get better at something, like almost counting your calories if you're trying to bulk and hit that size you want to hit. It's like sometimes you might not do it and you feel, am I going to make it? Am I going to hit my goal by the end of the year by falling off, from not counting my macros? But that's what it feels like,
Well, I'll be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes I do feel like it's an obligation. And I'm like
in a forced way or
not
in a
like
guilty
a forced way, but like almost like
to be a good person that you have to.
Yes, because sometimes I'll go through my day and I know, like, typically I came into a good habit of like reading I believe the book's called like Jesus Calling, Jesus Say. I can't remember, but it's like affirmations. Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
And it's like daily affirmations. I got in a good habit of reading those every day. Then I kind of fell off, but I would still, say a prayer every morning. And then, anytime that I had in the car, I would say like a prayer or just have like a conversation. Well, now it's like I'm almost like drifting away from that. But when I do remember, it's like, oh, I should be doing this. And it's more of like, oh, but I have the music on and this is a good song.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do it after the song, but then that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you forget where, the next cool song pops up. And
right. And I'm like, and then I get caught up of like, okay. And
that's how I am with editing.
And then I think back like, wow, like I really just pushed it to the side and wanted to listen to a couple more songs, or like, oh, I'm almost at the gym, I'll do it on the way back. And then on the way back, I just completely forget.
The song
and it's like, to me, it's almost like, I feel like I want to get to the point to where it doesn't feel like an obligation. So I guess my question is, how do you get to that point? Or have you guys ever been in that situation to where it's like not?
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like you got some words of wisdom to speak.
I was just going to say it's like the gym, bro. Honestly, like at first, for people who are newer to going to the gym, it feels like an obligation. You're not seeing the results that you want. You just want the results that you want, right? And so people get impatient. They get insecure, whatever the case may be. But us, right? Like, I bet you feel worse when you don't go to the gym.
Right.
Like, if you took a week off or 2 weeks off from the gym, you're probably going to feel a lot worse than if you would have just went to the gym. And I think similar to my dad, because I've asked him before, I told you guys the farm story. It took like 3 years, like work 3 years every single day. I was like, don't you get tired? Aren't you annoyed with that? And he's like, no, dude, I don't even think about it because now it's just a lifestyle, and I think that's for gym goers who are very dedicated. It's like, it's just integrated into my DNA now,
right?
Because I've stayed so consistent and so dedicated to it that now it's not an obligation. I think that's similar to a lot of new habits that people pick up. Of course, the initial start, right? So starting off, you're always going to be like, because you're just feeling so much. Like I'm using the gym as an example. You might not know what you're doing. You might be insecure about the way you look. Might be have social anxiety. I might be going to a new gym you've never been before. All those variables, right? But once you push through that, right, and you get to know people, pick up good habits, and just get more comfortable and get it becomes more natural, then you're going to feel more excited to go. Right. And it's going to feel less of an obligation. And I think like sometimes, with Christianity, it could feel like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it, because I feel like, when you first start going to the gym, you have all these, newbie gains that you're seeing and all this progress that you're making. Then you get to the stage of like, okay, like it's taken a little bit longer to see growth. So I feel like if I'm going to compare that to my spiritual journey, it's kind of similar. You know, in the beginning, I'm like super excited to learn, and I want to try to know everything that I can, and I'm reading the Bible, and I'm reading all these daily affirmations, and I'm really getting into it. Boom, 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 boom. So it's like I go on a really good period of like really diving deep and trying to build that relationship, and it's like almost like a straight line up if you're going to put it on a graph. Boom. And then it gets to like almost like stagnant and a little drop off.
Yeah.
But then
like the stock market almost.
Yeah, almost like the stock market. So boom, and then I guess I just need to find like that little like spark.
Are you passionate about God or not?
Right.
You know
and I need to find that spark. So once I find that, then it's like, because if you're gonna compare it to the gym, it's the same thing. At the gym, like right now, I'm seeing everybody hit these PRs, right? You're hitting 365. Damien just hit reps on 315. I'm seeing other people hit like crazy numbers, and I'm like, okay. And for like the past 2 weeks, I've been pretty consistent at the gym, and like I'm back to hitting 315 on bench. My squats are coming in really nice again. So I'm starting to see that spark again, and I'm like, okay, the freaking mat, what's the thing?
Clicker?
There's like a little fire under me now. So,
the spark?
Nice.
Yeah, so now I'm like, on starting to, the trajectory is starting to go up now. So I feel like maybe I just need to find that back onto my like spiritual journey, because right now it's like went really high, and I'm like trying to learn everything, and then now it's like almost like a plateau, maybe slightly on the downhill, because I'm starting to feel like I'm not making it a priority.
Yeah, and I would say to this statement, to each their own, right? And I think that's one of the biggest obstacles I faced as a new Christian was I compared myself to a lot of other Christians. Like I was like, I should know these, I should memorize Bible verses. I should, be able to pray for people, random people. I should be able to get up in front of the church and speak. I should be able to do this. I should look this way. I should dress this way. And it kind of hindered me a lot. But it
hindered.
Yeah, it hindered me a lot stepping into my faith, because I just kept comparing myself to so many people. And I think in the gym too, I mean, the way that I was going to correlate that is like when you're going into the gym, you're going to see so many different people in different stages of their fitness journey, right? That's going to cause a lot of either one, insecurities, or two, like I'm going to be better than them. And it's really dependent on like how you want to look at things, right? Because the difference between criticism and feedback is you, and the whole point of me saying that is like your perspective. Either you're gonna win or you're gonna lose. And I think with faith, it's similar to that, where we want things to happen now, or we look at other people who are doing it super well, and we're like, I should be doing this every single day. I should be praying like this. I should be going to church every Sunday. I should be doing this. And it's like, yeah, but there's going to be a time when that happens for you, right? But this is like your path, the way it's going to look. And, God's patient, forever patient with us.
That's very much
and so our journeys are always going to look super different, because I am not the perfect Christian, to be honest, in the sense that like my upbringing was so much more drastic, dramatic, difficult than a lot of people that I know now who've been in the faith. And I use one of my exes as an example. She grew up in a Christian family, both parents pastors, and I was like, you're like the cream of the crop and I'm bottom of the barrel. But that doesn't mean like we can't both be just as
good,
powerful, or good, because God sees us. I guess we were saying though, the position or stature of your heart, the position of your heart, and all that to say, like, it doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from. Like, you have the opportunity to be great. You just got to accept, like, your past's not always going to look like other people. But who controls that is, like, you, and if you really want it or not.
I'm talking about, like, when you go to... Well, I guess that, but, like, my question was, like, when you go to heaven, it's...
Like, levels are we one and the same?
Yeah,
or
is there
are
like rankings in
VIP,
I don't know.
general admission? Are you thinking general admission?
Yeah,
VIP,
like okay,
backstage
you're
classes.
Like, you're in like the 1% of the tier of like almost like a perfect Christian. You're gonna be on like the top of the class,
Yeah.
or class A, class B, or like how you get on an airplane, right? There's first class. Sorry, is there like first class Christians or like?
Well, there's also people who
I don't know.
that's a crazy one.
It's a good one. VIP.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like I guess you could say, it's not for us to decide.
Yeah.
But that was just a question that kind of just popped into my head, and I'm like, well, because there are people that really follow every single thing, right? We're all sinners at the end of the day, right? There's certain things that we do. There's certain things that we do. There's certain things that, So it's like, there's people that follow it almost like straight
to the T,
to the T.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, are they gonna be like up here, and then since we didn't follow it to the T, are we gonna be
people who follow like to the T as much as they can? Even like one negative thought about somebody, it's like if you commit one sin, you commit them, you commit them all, and that. So like even at that, like I know like I sidetracked the conversation right there because I still want to go into what you're going to, but that caught my attention. Where like if that Christian that follows the rules by the T. If they sin, it says somewhere in the Bible, if they sin once, you commit all the sins, basically. You have one negative thought about somebody, you basically committed the same thing as like murder, because you murdered that person's soul behind their back, in a way. But to go into what you're... Oh, no.
No, that's just hard to grasp.
I know. But if there's levels, I think it does talk about that. I think so. I could be wrong, but I've heard about it. I think I heard it from Cliff.
But how though, if it says that in the Bible, like if you think, if you commit a sin, then you've committed all sins, then how is there levels?
How isn't there levels?
No, how is there levels? Like how?
Yeah, because if one sin equals
all of them.
Yeah, like say, I don't know.
So is there levels to?
So I don't.
Getting into the kingdom in heaven. Are you going to general admission? You got the VIP lane.
Yeah, like what key do you have? Do you have like the?
I don't think it's about per person, as more like angels and like entities. Like angels have their own like levels. Below that's like a different set of angels, and then below that's like the humans. Like I think all humans go to the same one, but above that it's like angels, and above that something else, and above that's like God.
Yeah,
so
like,
what if you think about this?
Criteria to become a saint?
Yeah. No, exactly. Or none.
Yeah,
I don't know those ones. But my thing too is like if you look in the world, like the Pope, or like a nun, or like people who devoted their lives. What are their credentials?
I never even thought about that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do they have a first seat? Like,
front
row
get
seat?
What you're saying.
Because
they
are the Pope.
The whole
the
pastors. Technically, any Roman Catholic male can be elected Pope, but since 1379, every Pope has been selected from the College of Cardinals or Cardinals. The group casting the votes at the conclave. Big word. Many of the cardinals are bishops and archbishops appointed by the Pope to assist in religious issues.
Yeah, so like if we all have a fair opportunity, right, to go to heaven or to go to hell, do individuals like the Pope have like an advantage? Over.
I believe just as long as they serve solely from their heart, because I remember in a Django/Cliff podcast, they talked about just because you serve God doesn't mean that you're going to go to heaven. Like, yeah, you spread His word, you spread His purpose, but did you have that relationship with Him? Mm-hmm. Just because you're a pastor, a priest, are you just doing it as a service, as a 9-to-5 job, or do you genuinely have that relationship with Jesus Christ?
Yeah, but are they flying first class, and are we flying economy?
Bro. Or are we walking?
Also, there are only 2 requirements for becoming a Pope: being male and being baptized into the Catholic Church. That's all that you have to be. Then from there, you have to be selected.
Ooh, being male, that's correct. Well,
next subject. From there, a different topic for that one.
I didn't even realize that either.
Like that.
The Pope gets $32,000 a month.
Do they fly first class or do we general?
$32,000 a month. The Pope. Pretty good bank.
What? $32,000 a month? Is that real?
This is as of April 4th, 2023 from www.market.com lifestyle.
And is
that's $384,000.
The current wage,
$1,000.
Oh, wait. Popes usually get paid handsomely. The current wage he gets is $32,000 a month on a basis, but he refuses to get any of that money. Instead, Pope Francis decided to either donate the money to the church, use it to endow a foundation, place in trust, or pass it on to family members.
I know a family that did something similar like that. They live off 40% of their earnings, and they donate 60%.
The rest of it.
Yeah, percent.
That's interesting, though. That's kind of crazy. They get paid really well.
I forgot about that. He was gifted a Lambo.
Did he drive it?
He was gifted a special edition Lamborghini.
So is he riding in a Lambo and we're riding in a Honda or what?
Jeez, he did sign the hood of it, so that's pretty cool.
A Lambo straight to heaven. We're in the freaking Honda Civic.
We're on the bus.
Nothing wrong with the Honda Civic, but
we're on the bus.
Did we want to move on to Zodiac signs?
We can, yeah.
Before we wrap things up.
Zodiac sign. Last topic.
I wanted to show the video to give index to us and stuff.
What's up, brother?
Hey, brother. What's up, brothers?
But here is the video.
Ex-astrologer Angela Ucci exposes astrology in a way that you've probably never heard before. Listen to her testimony at the end.
Every zodiac sign is a demon. When you come into agreement with the zodiac sign, with the birth chart, the moon cycles, whatever, you are literally yoking to a demon of that particular sign or element because you are taking its identity as your own identity. You are coming into agreement with the personality traits that the zodiac assigns you, right? Signs you, the zodiac assigns you. So if you say, oh, I'm an Aries, just unpredictable and full of rage, that is you yoking yourself to the unclean spirit of that zodiac. Because demons are spirits without a body, they need a home. Astrological birth chart spoke the demonic prophecy of Gemini over me. And when I spoke that over myself, I was giving the spirit of double-mindedness permission to operate through me. And guess what I was? I was double.
So, are you a Scorpio?
I am in astrology.
We are November babies. We were both born in November.
We're born in November. To be honest, yeah, that's a tough one. Because, okay, so what about spiritual people who... No, I'm not. I can't answer my own questions. Like crystals and stuff from the earth.
But
like,
is that considered like witchcraft?
Worshipping the trees and stuff that God created.
Same thing as smoking weed, though.
Yeah, but and God created a cow. You can't worship a cow.
Or is it because we're putting the cow in the center of our universe?
No, it's never mind.
What?
You might pop up on a can of worms with that one.
Yeah, that is a tough one. Because beef. I don't eat beef.
Because what?
Yeah, we'll tell you later. Let's use the tree as an example.
Yeah, let's use trees. So what was the question? What were you asking?
What do you think about zodiac signs? Dude, that song just keeps playing in my head. What's your zodiac sign?
Before actually dabbling and becoming a full Christian, I didn't really care about zodiac signs. I cringed every time people brought up zodiac signs. Like what the hell? You good, bro?
Mm-hmm. Use it for an excuse to identify their bad behaviors.
Exactly, and I've been judged by that once. There was this lady when I used to work at Amazon as a manager. I was there doing my things, and I think she was like a flex driver where they use their personal cars to deliver packages. She came up, she was having a bad day, took her packages back. She was like, oh my God, you're so nice, this and that. What's your sign? And at that time, I think I said, oh, I don't do those. That's when I was kind of very foreign to it. And I was born in November. I was like, oh my God, you're a Scorpio? You're so nice for a Scorpio. And I was like, did I just get racially profiled through stars right now? In a way, did you expect me to be some sort of, butthole to you, some mean person? Because at that time, I kind of didn't know what it was. But when I look back at it, I looked into Scorpios could be very, what is the persona that we get identified with? Rude or...
We're the worst.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't like Scorpios.
You like us. Sorry, buddy boy.
Oh, I don't identify as Scorpio. I identify as an attack count. No. But yeah, so that was my first experience with that. And over time, I didn't really care about them. Even until the last 4 months, I didn't really care about them. I knew of them, didn't pay attention to them. Yeah. Then I started seeing videos, and as I got closer to my faith in God, I was like, oh, I can see where people come from zodiac signs are demons. Do I 100% believe that? I want to say yes, but then I'm not confident in that. I can see how people believe it. But at the end of the day, if you worship anything or you tell something to almost manifest into your life, you're going to become what you say you are.
Yeah.
If you're always saying, I'm a Scorpio all your life, you're going to adapt to that. You're going to let whatever, if it is a spirit, you're going to give that spirit permission to come into your life and lets you, be a Scorpio and a butthole to people, mean people, a bully, whatever it is. That's kind of my thoughts on that. But from that video, I could understand how people see it. Do 100% believe that? I don't have a solid answer for that. It's still so very new. It's a cool topic to talk about, see what people think. But
I laugh at crystals, to be honest. Those memes that are like, when you get to the kingdoms of heaven and you show God what you tried to defeat evil with, and it's like a handful of crystals.
Do you believe them? Zodiac signs?
I mean, I wouldn't say, like, I really am not that knowledgeable about it. I just know that I'm a Scorpio. And I have read through, like, my personality traits, like the good and the bad. And I'm like, some of this makes sense, some of this doesn't.
Yeah, it does. For me at least as well.
But
I feel like
don't
it's very
identify who I am through.
Yeah, with that. Yeah.
I feel like it's very, like, I could read mine, so I'm a Libra.
A zebra?
A Libra. So I could read it and be like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. That makes sense. But then I can also, there's, like, things that I don't agree with. And I'm like, no, I'm not like that. But I could read yours, too. And I can say, yeah, I'm like this, too. And I can label it. Like, if it was labeled as a Libra, I'll be like, the same thing. Like, if we switched the labels of a Scorpio and a Libra, like zoop, and then just read the description, we could both be pick out like little attributes that we're like, oh yeah, I'm like this. So I feel like you can kind of do that with anything, like a Gemini, whatever. Like who did I do that with? Like not too long ago, I think I did like my brothers, and I'm like, okay, he's a Capricorn or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I could see that. Oh, but this one is me, though. That one's not you. And this one is me. And then I'm like, but see, it don't really, like, it's almost like a broad
spectrum of it, yeah.
Right. And I'm like, well, I can agree with all of them. So I'm all the demons.
Yeah. Hey, yo.
No, just kidding.
I don't know why, but I think this is totally off topic. But I just thought of Coco. Right?
The Disney?
The Disney movie. You know how they like go and like celebrate the dead and worship the dead?
Dia de los Muertos.
The Christians? Is that permitted?
I don't think that's a Christian thing.
But Mexican heritage, right?
Dia de los Muertos.
Was that sinning?
Sorry, I'm trying to look it up.
Because my mom.
I would say, quote unquote, if it says in the Bible, it's a sin. That's as clear as we can say things, the dead, and celebrating the dead and all that.
Day of the Dead. Is it a sin?
My rule of thumb is, you always have to ask, where does it say that in the Bible? Like it's a sin. But then people can take things out of context and it's like, oh, getting tattoos is a sin, But what's the context of getting tattoos? And that's the biggest thing I've always gone back and forth with people, the context. Huh?
You couldn't find it?
No, I couldn't find it. It was like this really big article that.
Well, that's a question. Maybe we save for another time.
Ooh, around Halloween time.
Yo.
Or next pod.
Just say it's Halloween. Just say it's Halloween.
Bring on Daniel.
I don't know why I was just thinking that. I know that
it says mostly people who celebrate Dia de los Muertos do not attach it to any religious significance. But we're Christians, so
worshiping the dead.
Honoring the celebrations associated with Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, difference of worshiping and honoring them.
It originated in pre-Christian culture. While people tend to have strong feelings about holidays with pre-Christian roots, one may want to consider the pre-Christian roots of many Catholic celebrations and practices, which early Christians transformed into expressions of Catholic faith. Both Catholic and pre-Christian practices often originate by reference to the cosmological order, the turning of the seasons, the harvest, daily changes in the light, or the solar and lunar calendars. Did that even give you guys an answer? Yeah.
Let's research some more. We'll come back on that one. Yeah.
Just the way you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is episode 18.
That is a wrap.
18.
We're gonna upload stuff to the website to sell the shirts.
Check out the shirts.
Keep an eye out. We'll do shipping
One chip
again.
challenge round 2.
No,
Hell
thank you.
no.
We're gonna wax Hobbs' legs.
Maybe.
So maybe okay.
Link in the description for the shirts.
Yes, sir. Once
How
it's
about
posted.
this? You shave your faces.
Oh no.
I'm cool. I'm cool off that one.
How about you grow a beard?
I can't grow one.
You guys have a blessed night. God bless you guys. We thank you guys for everything you guys do.
Good
Peace
night.
out.
Thank you.
Peace.